Malcolm in the middle. All right. We are back with the 1111 podcast, or we're calling it Life Pass now, as we've literally been down our own life path. Mine personally has been absolutely fucking insane. I can say that openly, and I love it because it's been my world has changed in the last I'm getting chills like crazy right now. It's changed so much in the last 2 weeks, and it's opportunity is wide open and just graciously throwing itself at me, and I'm yay, because the rule is never deny anything the universe is throwing you, because as soon as you say no, you're telling it you don't need those resources.
Right.
And as hard as it is, I literally had somebody I got a video, a guy needs this shot, so I got your car detailed for free, I want to pay you hourly and edit a video. And I was no, that's a little too much, man. I was how about this, instead of paying me, I was just really bring the team together and grow this whole idea so that everybody gets to eat. So that was my way of saying no in a sense, but it was how about we make it a little better? Instead of paying me because I hate materialism, I was here's how we can turn your materialistic idea into everybody benefits from it, and we all can get materialism from it or whatever happens.
And then you give away your New Kids on the Block tickets.
Yeah, New Kids on, because New Kids on the Block tickets. So I got Royal Suite tickets, double header. I got my car detailed for free, a $200 and some odd job. I got New Kid on the Block tickets. Everybody's been hitting up our cell phones about business and filming videos. Literally can't get ahead of it, which is perfect because we want to grow, and now we're growing. But now we have to figure out how to pay people, still make money, not sink our ship, but everybody gets on boat and floats. So, whew, it's been crazy. Wild. It's been wild.
I feel I've released my blog and something that's been on my heart and a vision for a long time, and the support and the response, and it's been overwhelming in a good way. Everyone, what I had hoped for and times 10. I just want to help people and serve people and inspire them towards better health, and it's been awesome. And it's really cool because it's been a vision for so long, but I finally have the health to do it.
Yep.
So my blog is middaypigeon.com. You can go check it out.
Check it out. Better check it out. I haven't checked it out yet. I still need to.
Yeah.
I will check it out with you. All right. And then what crazy shit that's happened? Spencer's been catching my healing.
Yeah.
On the side. And ironically, everybody that I meet with, get in physical contact with, or watches these videos is synchronizing to 1111. Been really, really common, or people are starting to get really lucid dreams as the sun's shining on me. And then it was just the physical contact. And then this guy was he got sick out of nowhere. Hit him with that.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Honestly, I was sick about a month ago with what was kind of flu-like symptoms, and all of a sudden, in a matter of a few hours, I was feeling all those symptoms again, scratchy throat. I had a huge headache. My eyes were drying out. I had a fever. I was exhausted. I didn't want to do anything, even though we did have an action-packed day. Still got through it. But then, literally, once I got back, this is kind of the crazy part. After we got back, I kind of just was taking some time to myself on the couch, and then next thing I know, I was out. And he noticed I was out and was oh my gosh, he's talking in his sleep, he's saying all these different things, couldn't really understand what I was saying, but he was it didn't sound too pleasant. Well, it wasn't. From my brain, it was absolutely the most unpleasant thing ever. It was a whole bunch of scary things. I can't quite remember exactly what.
You're all deep in it, so...
Yeah, I was really deep, in the feels, deep in my thoughts.
Yeah, your sacral, chakra. He hit your deepest emotions. I mean, I did too a week ago, and it was he's kind of catching the side action of it. Not as intense, but it's I was hey, just do this, and this. You pretty much learn healing really quick. It's just rest, drink water, eat healthy food, and don't put toxins in your body, because the more toxins you put into your body, the worse the healing is. It gets rough.
Toxic thoughts.
Yeah. Toxic thoughts. Ooh.
They'll create chemicals.
I like that.
I'm so glad Jenny served that up. So the theme for this episode is toxic people. How to deal with them. Jenny was channeling me the other day, funny enough.
We always do that.
And it was she's hey, I was thinking about what you said about someone. Maybe you should try to open up a new channel because they're screaming for help, but they don't want the help. And I was like, whew. I was like, I might have tried 1,000 times, but I'm a tenacious Pisces, so here's 1,001. It was crazy. I literally closed my eyes. Boom! Massive block comes right into my vision, and I'm like, what is that? So then I'm texting her and I'm drawing it out on my iPhone, and then I was like, oh, it's a block. I get it. It's a giant block that just flew at me, and I was like, how obvious was that? But then it's like, what I saw literally went from like black and gray, and I like focused on like sparking my light. Purple, blue, and pink just spread my mind. It went from dark and cloudy to like, oh, and I was like, yo, that's cool. And then I got like the seizure chills, like my back locks up, and I'm like, ooh.
But you might be familiar with those.
Like, no, so it's like pretty much was like seizure convulsion, but I was like super chill 3,000, and I'm like, oh, I think I did something really cool. And then it's like, but you brought up a really good point, and I think we can all relate to this because it's like, you've had toxic people in your life.
Yes.
I've recently had a couple toxic people in my life.
Or what if when the people you love become toxic because they're in a really negative and unhealthy state, and you want to love them and help them, but I mean, like you said, they're crying for help. So tell more about like a way that you can love them and help heal them, but you don't have to necessarily be in their immediate space.
Yeah,
so locked down.
Oh, I think this is where you can really just open up the peace of mind for them and connect with them. So, you know, something I've seen other psychics do is like say somebody's names 3 times, like whisper it. You have to say their full name. So if you were like to channel me, it'd be Christopher John Douglas 3 times on the lower part of your breath. And then look at a picture of them also helps sometimes, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then you almost like put yourself into their mind, and then from there you can almost like, you know, pray to help them out, or just like literally create the most positive vibrations. Like literally like, I want you to know everything I've ever said is never meant to be negative. If anything, it's a challenge to help push you to grow yourself. But you're too scared to grow yourself, which is fear, which is everything that kills positive vibrations.
Right.
And it's like, I actually put myself in a lower awareness state the other day so I could almost feel the fear and almost test the theory. And it was like, I was becoming paranoid and kind of like scared. And then I'm like, all right, I knew I lowered my awareness. And then I was like, all right, bump it back up. And I was able to do that. But it was almost like, now I know how those people kind of feel at times. And it was like, something as simple as walking to the park became something super scary that I was like, somebody's coming after me. Like, I'm listening to Motley Crue. It just popped on my, and I'm like, I got the cops coming. And I'm like, no, I should have no reason to have the cops coming after me. But
and like our good friend Tanya said, she said you can't talk at them, because if you've never struggled with, you know, depression, anxiety, PTSD, anything that's going on, anything you're saying is going to bounce off of them, because you don't know what it's like to be in their head, and what you're saying, praying for them and getting in their headspace and having like love and compassion. Like, I think that's the best way to reach them than just saying like, hey, you need to do this, this, and this to feel better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nobody likes to be talked to like that. Like, I hate that.
And we're extremely blessed to be the elevated place we're in life.
Yes.
You can't take it for granted.
But it also has this almost like negative aspects that you're like vibing so high. You're like, why can't you let yourself get to that higher vibe?
Yeah.
But it's almost like that's where you have to like disconnect and let them bring themselves to you if they want it. And if they don't, quantum physics easily, like, you have all these dividers, you have an energy source, and then you get all these crosshairs, and there's going to be positive points along the way, but negative people are the ones kind of bouncing around, and then oh, there's a positive terminal. They can stick to it, detach when they want to.
And your light just draws them in, and the more time you spend like reflecting, praying, the more that you channel your divinity, your God, Jesus, and become like Him, the more attractive and the more light that you shine and attract to people.
Yeah,
you're magnetic, and you're like.
I read something that sticks to that is like, God is me, I am His light, or something of that nature. Like, that's a really good statement. That is like, God is within me, but I have the power to shine His light, or I have the power to like suppress His light.
Exactly.
And it's like, man, I feel like I just got this little flame inside of me. I see somebody who's having a bad day, and I'm like, take take those positive thoughts. And I'm like, even if they're like, I'm like, how's your day? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, smile, it'll get better. Have a good one.
Yeah, kind of touch on what you were talking about earlier with like, you know, anybody you know that's struggling or like a family member, like someone that you really care about, but they're just always bringing constant negativity. I mean, there's times where I feel like they don't know it, that they're bringing the negativity. I can definitely relate to that as far as, you know, individuals in my family, like after, you know, a loved one has passed away or something like that, or their spouse. There's been times where it's like, oh my gosh, will you like, you know, I'm trying to say, will you not be negative in a very nice, positive way? And it gets difficult at times because it gets wearing on me because I absorb people's emotions like that. It's tough. It's really tough. And so like, there's times where like I have to like sit back and like, okay, don't blow up, don't blow up, don't blow up. Like this is a very simple thing, but it's really not simple. You know, like the issue that they're going through. So like that's been something that, you know, I feel like.
So what have you done?
What have I done?
Yeah, how do you passively but openly shine your light?
So kind of what I have done is just, I mean, for instance, with my mother, what the number one thing she loves to hear is any good news. Like, so I try to just feed her with good news before she starts feeding me with any negative or bad news.
Yeah, hit her with the
So
vibes.
like, I basically just try to cut her off at the beginning of like when we first start talking, because I know where the conversation is going to go every time.
You can only control your reaction, not their action.
Yeah, exactly.
You're giving her the, pretty much, here's a positive action for the positive reaction.
Yeah.
And then if you see her kind of going negative, here's like two positives.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're just throwing them like darts at her, like.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cupid shooting like vibration arrows.
Yeah. At first it's like one shoot, and then after that you're going like a full auto.
Yeah.
Trying to like knock them all down, but
Kill them with kindness.
But yeah, I mean that's definitely been like the main way I've gone about with her and other family members who I know are always struggling, but you know they aren't at that mindset yet, and some haven't even been near that mindset for the last 6 years that I know who've been struggling.
Fun fact: social media is huge right now. So we just took some really cool pictures the other day, and I was thinking in the back of my head, everybody's like, Chris is such a dumbass, he didn't put his logo on these pictures. And I was like, I hope somebody asks me why I didn't do that, because those pictures were so awesome, so vibrant, and the amount of like vibrations in them. I was post them to Facebook and was like, I hope everybody steals these pictures and shares them and claims that they're theirs, because I know the power of what was in those pictures, and I'm like, go viral.
Well, that's how
like,
you
please share these.
receive abundance, not by like clawing and striving your way, like just receiving and being open and giving. Like the biggest way, the number one rule to receiving prosperity, abundance is give more.
Yeah, no, exactly. Karma, like, all right, here's one thing I just gave you. Guess what? I got 3 more coming back.
You really did.
And it's, I mean, we've done so much, like so many, like Spencer and I are more like nonprofit, missionary, philanthropist, who like have ambitions to have a lot of money and help a lot more people, but it's like we endlessly help people when we're broke. We call ourselves like reverse investors or reverse philanthropists, because we're like, here you go, but then we know like, oh, here's the 3 things coming in, like boom, boom, boom every day.
You guys have been busy too.
Oh my
Very
gosh.
busy.
It's like Spirit's working me hard right
Where'd
now.
my friends go?
Yeah.
It's been a little exhausting.
But it's like,
that's been good.
This season and this theme's all about like self-care, self-love right now, and it's like I feel bad for the people I haven't been able to talk to as much, but I'm also like, I'm sorry, I'm doing me right now. You have to respect that.
And that gives them the space to work on themselves and do them, and not be dependent on other people.
Yeah, as soon as I feel somebody getting dependent on me, I'm like, I kind of have to act like a dickhead or an asshole, and I'm like, detach. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, you're like sticking to me like a leech right now, and I feel it, and I dislike it, because I don't want myself or anybody else attaching to anything. Because that's like the worst thing you can do, is get too comfortable, too stuck. Like I like the whole idea of constantly being in motion and like constantly just like, oh, here's a new opportunity. Hi, I'm Chris. Like, okay. And then it's like you kind of outgrow those people that grow with you, and then that's where you can kind of get, you know, stuck to somebody. But I almost think in like big relationships, you should stay detached as well, because now you have a reason to attract every day. And it's like, that's where I'm not sure about that, but it's almost like my intuition's more like, you know, the more you're detached, the more you have the ability to create the, you know, interactions or communications with other people. And it's
Well, I
Could
feel
be
like when
completely
you're
wrong,
like,
but if it's wrong, then I'm wrong.
well, when you're like detached, you have like that time of like detachment. I feel like that's when, you know, both individuals or whoever can kind of like, you know, explore a few things on their own, and then when they come back, it's like, okay, here's some new ideas that neither one of us would have thought of if we were like together or something like that. So I mean, that's definitely important. Like if you're with somebody who, you know, negative, or whether it's, well, even if they're not negative, but just like all the time, you definitely need that space.
Yeah.
Sure.
And like we've seen, everybody has their own life path or journey that God wants to take them on, and if you're, you know, molding or, you know, being a chameleon to somebody else's, you're missing out on your own.
Yep.
And I can be guilty of that in relationships. Like their goals and dreams become your goals and dreams, but
Yeah, because you're so empathetic. You're like, you want them to win, but then you're like, shit, I forgot about self again.
yeah. And then sometimes God pulls out his megaphone and is like, you're not listening, here's your vision and your dream.
Yeah,
You're like, oh,
he's
thank
like,
you.
Hey, Jen, look in a mirror real quick. That's the person you help first.
It's true.
I catch myself doing it all the time, but it's like, you know, like we mentioned in the last episode, somebody felt like I was negatively like stabbing them, jabbing them, but it's like literally I'm working on all this stuff too, and my story is my reminder because I look through it to see who's looking at it, what they're looking at, like kind of to check if I'm really like at least getting the attention I want, if some ideas are growing as opposed to others, but then I'm also just like, I'm focusing on me right now, and I know I'm struggling with everything I'm posting on, so if you do see it, like, that's what I'm working on, and I'm open about it, but it's like...
Vulnerability is powerful, too.
Oh, I love being vulnerable. People hate it, too, but it's like...
It's so powerful.
Yeah, it's fun. But then as soon as you're vulnerable, you can also, like, you know, check somebody. Like, oh, I see you kind of putting your hand in that cookie jar a couple extra times. Check! Yeah. And then it's like, do they get up or do they stay down? And then it's like, that's almost that detachment of, like, are you going to stay in my life or are you leaving my life?
Yeah.
But then you also give them that push to, like, better themselves, so it's crazy. Man, how many minutes are we at? Oh, look at that, 14:55, 555. I shit you not. That was, that's cool. So, hey, there's a good topic. So, I've been synchronizing this week too.
Teach us about
11, 11, 9. So, every time I'm at the gym, I'm seeing 9 synchronized across the board, as in like 09, 54, 54. So, hours, minutes, seconds. And I'm like, every time I catch it, I look up at the clock. It's 09, 54, 54 seconds right when I look at it, and I see it click, which is like my, oh, caught it. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So then I was talking to Tanya and I was texting her, and I think she wasn't having the best day. And I was like, you know what? This is the second day in a row I've synchronized the 999 in the gym. Maybe my message to you is that it will work out. And she was like, ah. And I was
Where
like,
did you get that from, the 9s?
The 9s, so 999 is, if you see triple nines, it's like the end of a venture or a path. Like whatever you've just completed is like the end of that cycle. It's time to grow again.
Okay.
Or you can get stuck and stay.
Okay.
And then 9's the highest vibrations. 1111 is actually like the higher vibrations, I think, but it's like my number, so I'm spiritually aligned when I see that.
I texted you the other day. I was like, oh, it's 1111.
See? Boom. And then 555's been popping up instantly, as you just saw. 14, what is that? 1455. So 1 plus 4 is 5, and then 5, 5, which is changes on the horizon. And I can't tell you how much change I feel is coming, because it's like we just got into like football filming, and I was like, hey Spencer, are you ready for what's next? I didn't even have to tell him I was talking about Chiefs training camp, because it was just kind of like, you know, here's the starting grounds. Maybe this is something we're getting into.
Yeah.
Music videos have been popping up a lot more. Everybody's driving us towards the music industry, which I've dreamed about forever. And I know like who I am as a person. I can spread my message best in audio, video, and creativity.
Right.
I magically found my spot here.
Yeah, and with the releasing of my blog, I thought, you know, one day I really want to extend it as a service. Right now I just want to get a message out and inspire people, and then I'll get into more serving others and like through like wellness guiding, and I don't like the word coach, but something like that. And people have been coming to me requesting it. I had a couple of people be like, hey, I set a rate, I want to work with you. Set the rate with the help of some friends, figuring that out. And then my car had a major repair, and then what they are paying me is exactly what my car needed. So that I just thought, it was really cool. A lot of change and a lot of good things.
But change feels good, right?
I'm so blessed right now.
I've always been open to change, But ever since I've really like started my spiritual journey, started like going through the flow, if I don't feel change one day, I'm almost like, hey, change, come on, it's time to show up again. Like, I need change and I love change. And then it's also like, live fearless, don't fear anything. And it's, I'm playing with the thoughts in my head and all the messages I'm getting of like, all right, California keeps popping up everywhere, in Colorado, and like the signs I'm catching, I'm just like, all right, do I literally just have to jump on a plane and show up to LAX and be like, all right, come find me? It's like, I don't know, but that's like popped in my mind a couple times, and I'm like, huh? You never know.
That's where you feel like God's
Yeah, you can see me in California one day, you just know, I was like, oh, well, fuck it, I did it.
We'll have to record via Skype then.
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, no, Zoom, we can hop on Zoom.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll do
I love
Zoom.
it. Zoom's actually pretty cool. And it's, oh man, the stuff that I've already experienced with Zoom and spiritual individuals is absolutely insane. Like, you can literally connect with their energies on these platforms. And it's,
How's that on Zoom?
so like one girl was talking and I got a headache. And all she did was talk about how stressed out she was.
Yeah.
And then, somebody else was talking and I started my back getting warm. And I'm like, ooh, she's got a lot of fire in it. It happens to be a fire sign. And then somebody else was talking and I was just like, you're so calming. And then
It was Spencer.
and then I'm catching Tanya's channel, and
wasn't
then
here.
I was literally bouncing back between a channel and like, and then I'm like, channel, and I was just like, this is awesome. it was so cool. And then it was like seeing where I was at in the video with everybody talking, where I was feeling their energy, and it was mind blowing, and I loved every second of it.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh man, what numbers have? So I've had a lot of people, numerology 11s popping in my life everywhere. 9s and 11s are just like reeling themselves into me, and I'm like, "What's up, guys? Welcome to the party!" Like literally what I say, like, "Welcome to the party."
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah, they're like, and it's like people give me like hints about stuff, especially like after hanging out with me, physical contact. They're like, "I had a crazy dream," and then that's where I was like, "What did you dream about?" And it's all been about the same trend, and then I'm like, welcome to the party, and then everybody's
You're really
like,
good at like encouraging people to sit with their center and awaken like their inner spiritual self and access what, I mean, we were just talking about this. People surrender their power. Like,
they do.
God gives us
An unconscious
gifts.
mind
Yes.
is like a waste of a warm
Yeah.
body.
If if you're numbing or you're avoiding, like you really don't want to sit with who you are and sit with God and just receive, like you're surrendering your power. We were just talking about that. Like, He offers a lot.
And as the themes popped up, you see us sitting behind this beautiful tree. I have seen so many trees in like my visions, and everything has came to me, and then I pull up this article. I randomly like to get on the internet and magically find an article that I've been like couldn't have asked to find quicker, and I just start reading it and I'm like, found it. Trees have been popping up left and right. Found this super cool article that is like, you are a seed to life. A tree is how you pretty much like channel or connect with your higher spiritual self. And it's not magic, it's literally simple. You sit on a tree, get comfortable, palms down on it, close your eyes, and just get ready for the ride. It is so much fun. Like, it is so cool. People are probably thinking like, dude's dropping shrooms and shit. It was like, I could go down there like sober as can be with a glass of water and my shades on, and I could sit there for hours. And I'm just like, it feels literally like the tree's just like cleaning your soul. You literally feel like I feel like I'm hooked up to a dialysis machine. I've never been hooked up to a dialysis, but it feels like it's literally like I'm just feeling my blood go out, the tree's taking it, and it's sending back the super clean energy, and I'm just like, wow. And then the amount of energy that I actually do pull from the tree.
You can give out.
Yeah,
to
and
other
it's
people.
like, but then it's like, I almost enjoy more the meditation and what I see when I'm sitting with the tree,
Yeah.
because it's like, my colors go from like purple, blue, and pink kind of all over to like vibrant, just like traveling through stuff, like zooming through areas. And then I've seen a couple stuff that I'm like, I gotta fill that out a little bit more, because it's blown my mind.
I feel like trees in nature are a really good way to connect with God. And there's a verse in scripture, it talks about like, He is the branch and He is the vine and we are the branches. So and when we connect with Him, then we produce fruit.
Yeah,
and kind of with
there was like that
life.
article kind of.
Yeah,
and
and
it's
with,
like, I
life.
love fruit, right? Don't you?
Right. But you know what's even better than fruit is wine. And when you go through
Oh, can you drink
crushing,
wine?
like we were talking about our last episode, we've all been through some really hard things that have crushed us and developed us. But we took our fruit and now we're able to make wine and give out wine. So I think
that.
it's so like trees, they're like we connect with the center, connect with God, and then we're able to produce more fruit and give to others.
My co-star dropped something on me the other day. It was like, so it's dropping whenever I get my message. It used to be at like 11:15. Now, whatever time it drops it on, my daily notifications, 11:11 numerology. Kind of creeped me out, but it was like, it told me to be the tree of light and clean the air around me, which I was like, I can't clean it. Then I'm like, shine my light, clean the negativity. And it's like, I don't think a negative person can sit next to me because it's literally like they're like neurotic almost, like why is he so positive? And I'm just like, no, come here, give me a hug. Like, no. Like somebody shut down our we were filming a video for a guy today, so negative. They're just sitting there like, you guys have to leave, this is private property. And I'm like, man, can we like take some pictures of your building over there, shoot some videos, like I'll fly the drone by it just to let us be here and finish real quick, like we're almost done. No, you have to leave now. Okay, no problem. And that was like a test to me because literally got the numbers of the people there, numerology 333s. At 11:33, I put the number in my phone. I was like, ooh, that's awesome. But then it was like, I was like, okay, I really want to be negative. Then I'm like, nope, I've been working on being so positive. I was like, hey, happy Sunday, Cinco de Drinko, get you a Corona. All right, Spencer, let's roll.
It is Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, it's funny. It was like, so this is the 555 podcast because it's been popping up everywhere. It's May 5th, 5-5, and we started at 5 o'clock when we all gathered. I think we found what the 5 really leading us to. Where are we at with you?
So, this past week, whenever we met with our great friend Tanya, kind of back when we were like discussing trees here earlier.
AKA T-Mo's.
Yeah, T-Mo's.
T-Mo's hanging out with little JJ.
So we were like sitting on concrete, and all of a sudden she was just like, "You're like,
yeah, me and Jesus,
you can't." She was like, I can't think right now, and everybody's like, what's going on? And she's like, he's in pain, pointing at me, and I, with like my back and all this stuff I have going on, I was sitting there in pain, and so she was like, all right, put your back towards me, scoot back towards me. I may have scooted a little too close.
Yeah, she goes, not that close. I was like, oh, a Virgo Cancer is friggin' hilarious to see.
But so like as like I had my
like,
back facing her,
it's funny.
She was like, okay, go ahead and close your eyes, and I'm just sitting there like trying to be like upright and whatnot. And I have no idea what she's doing. I don't know if she's actually touching me, if she's not touching me. But all I know is at first I felt a tap on this nod, right on the shoulder, and then I felt a tap right here.
That wasn't a finger, Spencer.
I know that now, but I didn't know that at first because I had my eyes closed and I was just,
hands were like, turn around.
Yeah, they were
She was doing, her energy working healing here, and
ooh, you just tweaked something. No, I just couldn't.
I was like,
but
just see my face.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like she like, what I thought somebody tapped me there, and then all of a sudden I could feel like pretty much like mid back, just a slow progression of being painless, all the way down to pretty much like mid calf.
Wait, what happened? Where'd you go move to after she did her healing technique?
So after we did that, she goes, all right, we need to get somewhere softer for you. She goes, concrete's terrible for you. So we went, sat in some grass right next and propped up against this tree, and so like I'm just sitting there just.
I got a picture of it.
In the clouds on my own, and she's like there, like I can tell she like keeps looking at me, and all of a sudden she's like, you gonna get nauseous? And I'm like, no, I feel fantastic. She goes, okay, well I couldn't tell if you were gonna get nauseous or if you were just really liking this. I was like, yeah. But it was, at that point, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here against a tree with my back and legs at a 90-degree angle, which is very difficult for me to do, and I was sitting there pain-free. And it was pretty incredible, actually. Yeah.
I have a funny story. We show up to this thing today. This just channeled me because that flew in.
Your face.
And I walk up on the floor or the tower. He's getting a battery charger or something, and like this solar panel just keeps flopping over every time I'm looking that way. And I was like, when I was texting you, shit kept falling off the shelf or whatever.
When I talked to you on the phone, there's this lamp.
It keeps falling over. So I was knocking over a solar panel today, and I'm just like, y'all should just like duct tape it down or something. And then I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna stop looking at it, and then it didn't move again.
Yeah.
And I was like,
well, like the energies that you put off when you're vibrating really high, you have really elevated emotions and high energy, I mean,
I'm a human
quantum
vibrator.
physics, metaphysics, you're affecting everything around you.
Yeah.
So matter, energy, people,
You're a mess.
the telephone. What happened?
Nothing.
Just continue. Just continue. We don't need to repeat it.
Getting ornery
He
over
doesn't
here.
need to repeat it, I should say.
I don't want to hear it.
You don't want to know.
But so you were talking.
Ignorance
See,
is
I
bliss.
just like it just flew over. So you were talking about something. The tree. You sat on it. Felt better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's
gonna do
round.
after this podcast, video cast?
You're going to go to the park.
Yeah. Whenever I drink mugwort, that's like his sign. Like I'm gonna go sit under a tree and I'm gonna come back and make some really cool videos.
Yeah.
What do you do after you sit on a tree? Yeah.
I like to sit on my patio like this. There's a tree right next to it.
But I mean, what do you do after you like? Have you sat on a tree or like channeled and then done anything afterwards?
No, I should try it. I have a lot of trees in my
It's
backyard.
like I think you should write your vlog after you do it, or your blog after you do that. That's like when I do my most creative work is right after the park. And it's like if I can't get in that mindset to work or get creative, or I'm like, God, what's
I
that
do my
blog?
most creative work after yoga, and I come home, I go to yoga, and then I make some like fresh juice, like all the high vibrational foods, and then I just pray and get like put on worship music, and it floods me.
Flow. And then you
Yeah,
get then you
it's
get
good.
this instead of this.
Yeah, it's good. I feel like yoga clears. Well, they say your third eye, your pineal. I just feel so clear. And,
Oh, yeah.
And ideas just when you're in yoga meditation, ideas just drop and like. It's
I
so
love it
cool.
because
you just gotta receive.
I pick up emotions from everybody in a room, and yoga is like the one spot I can be in a room with a ton of people, and they're only focused on holding that damn pose. I can actually think and feel, and like I absorb so much because their minds aren't thinking about like I gotta do this, I gotta get laundry, I gotta pick up the kids, it's like literally just like boop, hold that pose, and I'm like, oh my god, the thoughts I get during yoga just like blow my mind, and then I'm like, where'd that thought go? I can't remember it later, but you can't write stuff down during yoga. So.
Well, not even. Like
Definitely not hot
six-
yoga.
Kind of like mugwort.
paper's
Kind of
gonna
like
get wet.
mugwort tea. It's a little bittersweet.
That's what happened. Like a month or two ago, Chris had texted me on a Friday, and it was like out of the blue. Like we hadn't talked in a while. I didn't even see the text. I don't know what, my phone must have been open, something. Did not know. It was Sunday morning, I was in yoga, and then I got out of yoga, I was like, I need to text Chris about something. So I pull up my phone to text him, like, oh, he texted me on Friday. And then now here we are.
Boom. Next week, I got a cool idea for next week. And I thought we could say it on here so we didn't forget.
Okay, yeah.
I want you two to think about what spiritual investment means.
That's
Okay.
good. That's
So it's
good.
like somebody dropped the term venture or like spiritual capitalism, and I was like, capitalists are like who you see first before you meet the angel investors. I'm all about the angels here. So I was like, I want to be a spiritual investor. And then I was like, what does that mean? And I actually started channeling and writing down this, and I have it written down, but I'm curious to see what you guys pull separately. And I'm just magically knowing that we're probably all going to be on the same alignment, going in
Okay.
blind.
Okay.
Think about, so in business, an investor is somebody who gives you money. They take 5% of your business, say, but then they're banking on you to exit your company and sell it. So now you exit at 100 million. Now they get 5% of that 100 million, but they gave you 200,000 to get you to that 100 million exit. Because when you sell a business, it's not what it's worth; it's what it's worth to somebody else.
I get
So-
a lot. Okay.
So
Yeah,
now, if I'm
we can talk about
spiritually
this.
investing into you from myself, what does that mean? From my standpoint and your standpoint, how can we work together? What can it manifest? Or if you do me wrong, does it bring both of us down? So forth. It's a really good. Just the entrepreneur in me is like, ooh, I love it.
It'll be good.
Play with it.
Okay.
It's definitely worth it.
We'll
If
just,
you're not spiritually investing, you should.
yeah. I mean, that's.
Because the first person that's going to benefit is you,
Yep.
and then all those around.
You're already killing it. Stay on that brainwave. Like, woo!
We'll get there. It'll be good.
All right. I'm all out of stuff.
I'm out.
I'm kind of tired.
I'm exhausted.
I think you're pulling all my trap and shoulder pain, and somebody charged me up. So thank you.
My back hurts.
I'm glad I could always.
feeling drained.
I think I
right
want to sit in the
now.
middle every time now. Like I'm just like, you guys feel good.
I'm feeling drained.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, go sit under a tree with me.
All
Yeah.
right, we're gonna go sit under some
All right.
trees.
Yeah, I'm gonna go sit under a
Bye.
tree. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to watch the first video if you haven't watched the first video. This will be the second video. We're working on the podcast. Apple's being a little resilient. You just got to cut down that apple out of the tree and take a bite from it. SoundCloud is actually accepting of it. It's funny how the name's like kind of relevant to being in the clouds, and it's okay. Anywho, we'll definitely in the video post all this stuff as soon as we get platform secured and working with us. So, thank you.
Have a great week.
Stay on the bright side.